We all know that Kenya has a lot of beautiful sceneries. This beauty has attracted a lot of Hollywood filmmakers into the country. It's also motivated some of the most beloved movies of all time. Follow me as we look at the best Hollywood movies shot in Kenya, or got inspired by Kenya. For starters, let's begin with the beloved Disney movie, The Lion King. Almost everyone on earth has watched this emotional, coming-of-age movie. Some of the characters have Swahili names, and everyone recognizes the iconic song Hakuna Matata. The movie is heavily inspired by the Hell's Gate National Park in Kenya, and the beautiful animals in the country.
Will you knock it off? Well, he started it!
Next, we have the movie, Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls. Here, the pet detective, Ace Ventura, acted by Jim Carrey, returns for another adventure where he is looking for a bat from a village located in Africa. The sacred animal was offered up as a wedding dowry from the Wachatu prince to the Wachati princess. These tribes are heavily inspired by the Maasai of Kenya, and so are the locations.
Earthquake test! Mr. Ventura, this way. Neato!
Next, we have the film Madagascar. This is a comedy animation movie about some New York animals that find their way into Africa. The African sceneries are heavily inspired by the Masai Mara Animal Reserve of Kenya. And the Kilimanjaro is even popping out in the background. The movie also has some Swahili words and names like the character Moto Moto. This is a movie that you really need to have a look at. It's pretty hilarious.
You, higher mammal. Can you read?
No. Ship to Kenya. Wildlife Preserve, Africa.
Africa.
Let's now look at the movie, The Air Up There. This is an interesting movie based on the story of a basketball assistant coach. He identifies a player called Dylan from Kenya in Africa. The film was well received, and you should go have a look at it.
Go on. Take a shot.
If you are a fan of feel-good movies, The Gun Runners will really interest you. The film is set in the northern part of Kenya, where there are two young men who are cattle rustlers, and they decide to stop it and start running in marathons. This movie was nominated for a Canadian Screen Award for Best Cinematography in a Feature Documentary. The Rugged Priest is a 2011 Kenyan biographical film directed by Bob Nyanja. It is based on the life and death of John Anthony Kaiser.
Yeah, we are being followed. They're catching up, John. Cobra,
Let's now talk about this classical movie called White Mischief. The movie is based on the most infamous murders that occurred in Kenya just before World War II. It's a captivating story about a wealthy rancher who gets murdered, and it becomes a whole thing.
The very rich came to Africa for fun and games. But after you've seen it all, after you've lived it all, after you've had it all, and each other, what comes next?
Another classic one is the movie Nowhere in Africa. The story revolves around a Jewish-German family that fled Hitler's Nazi Germany to find refuge in Kenya. It won an Academy Awards for Best Foreign Language Film and Best Feature Film in 2001. This is actually one of my most favorite movies. You really need to go have a look at it. Another one filmed in Kenya is The Constant Gardener, which is a conspiracy thriller that chronicles the lead character Justin Quayle and his wife Tessa's relocation to Kenya. Tessa is murdered, and Justin finds himself immersed in the detective world in an attempt to unearth the perpetrators.
Police were here. They took away the files, papers, computers.
Tess thought she was being watched.
I failed her. I have to finish what she started.
You'll never find them. They will find you.
The movie Cry Freedom was not entirely filmed in Kenya. The film stars Denzel Washington, and it's a drama that helps brings to light the true horror of the South African apartheid regime of the time. The beach scenes are shot in Mombasa, Kenya.
Well, I think it is a far more valid statement than the charges against these men here. Really? Yes, really.
The First Grader is a drama about a Mau Mau, freedom fighter. He's called Tony Njurija. He's an old man who goes to elementary class. The film is shot in Kenya's Great Rift Valley region.
We have a new student today. Open your exercise books. Let's begin.
An old man has actually gone back to school. The teacher who took Maruge to school at 84 years is absolutely crazy.
To Walk with the Lions is a 1999 Hollywood movie produced by George Adamson who fights to save wildlife in Kenya. This movie won the Environmental Award in the US in 1999. He struggles to keep poachers away from the wildlife.
Look, the lease is up in September. I can extend it to the end of the year.
It's not enough. You've got to give us 2 years at least.
Now here's a huge Hollywood film that I know almost everyone has seen. Tomb Raider. The Cradle of Life was shot on location in the beautiful Hell's Gate National Park in Kenya, just 2 hours drive from the capital. The beautiful gorge, cliffs, and rocks provide the perfect backdrop for many scenes, including the core scenes in the tomb. In the movie, Kenya's tribesmen of the Poka tribe played a role as the mysterious tribe discovered in Africa by the Tomb Raider Lara Croft. Sense8 is one of the most successful science fiction series on Netflix. Sense8 is shot on location in Kenya's capital city, Nairobi. The storyline revolves around a group of young people from all over the world who wonder why they are able to communicate telepathically with each other, as well as use each other's skills, because they are connected mentally. The Rise and Fall of Idi Amin is a biographical movie focuses on the former Ugandan president during his ruling years in the 1970s. His bad leadership led to the economic failure of Uganda as a result of his banishing Asian business people from his country. Parts of the film are shot in the picturesque parts of western Kenya.
Ah, my snake food. Very good. Eat Male Mungu. Snake will make you strong.
I'd rather have eaten the chicken.
Solomon's Mine is another entertaining thriller movie shot in Kenya. It tells the story of a fortune hunter who is convinced by a young lady to help her look for her father, who has been lost in the wild. This movie has some thrilling action and humor. And pretty recently actually, a German film called Paradise Love was made in the coastal area of Kenya. You should have a look at it, it's pretty nice.
Bist du rasiert? Ich bin nicht rasiert, mir fallen sie schon aus. Achso. Das Fremde ist der Reiz, verstehst du?
Das ist mein Bettzufall, aber was sagst du?
Also ich bete von sagen.
Ich verstehe kein Deutsch.
If you really love cinema, you probably know of the film director called Spielberg. In his movie, The Color Purple, there's an African scene, and that's where Kenya comes in.
Seems like the longer I'm married to, the slower you get, the dumber you get. Your ass just as slow as it ain't I ever seen it before.
In 2015 we got the movie Eye in the Sky. It's about the Al-Shabaab terrorists in Kenya. The reviews were pretty tremendous for this film.
That's Stanford.
Well, this changes things.
There's the movie, I Dreamed of Africa. It's about some Wazungus and some poachers.
They left behind a world of wealth and privilege and dared to start again, together.
In a better world they had a refugee scene shot in Kenya.
Searcher, please! I've seen that type of injury before. It's the work of a local villain. Big man.
There's the 1956 movie, Beyond Mombasa. It's a thrilling adventure film starring Donna Reed, and was one of the biggest movies at the time.
In your case, yes.
Ah, you dropped your soap.
I'll get it.
Oh, I was just being a gentleman.
Well, that's something new.
The Kitchen Toto is an interesting one too, it's about the Mau Mau. The Last Safari 1967 is another one about adventure.
Here we have the guts of a McKinnon, who walked from the coast to discover Mount Kenya. Or Thompson, who was the first to walk across the Serengeti Plains.
The Last Safari.
There's Mogambo 1953 starring Clark Gable. I highly recommend you go watch it.
I warn you, I'm looking, I'm searching.
Another one is the movie Safari, made in 1956. To this day it's actually one of my favorite classic movies filmed in Kenya. It's also about the Mau Mau.
But I rode home on a chimpanzee, that big giraffe, he had to laugh.
In 1984 there was the movie Sheena.
I am Sheena.
And then in 2005 there was the movie The White Maasai. Critics were okay with it, and the audience loved it.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
In 1975 we had the British thriller movie called The Wilbey Conspiracy. It had some parts that were shot in Kenya.
What am I doing here? He didn't want to get involved.
I don't know whether to shoot you or call the police.
The Ghost in Darkness is the spectacular story of the man-eaters of Tsavo. It's a thrilling chronicle of the horrors endured by the workers who built the Nairobi-Mombasa Railway.
Railroad in history for the glorious purpose of saving Africa from the Africans and, of course, to end slavery.
How many do you think they've killed?
100.
Lastly, we look at the film Inception, the 2010 sci-fi thriller featuring Leonardo DiCaprio. It features the coastal city of Mombasa, and a thrilling foot chase takes place there. The scene even includes props like Kenya's leading local Swahili daily Taifulio. However, the scene was actually shot in Tangiers Old Souk in Morocco. A lot of Kenyans have watched this movie, and even though it's just that one scene about Mombasa, they still love it nonetheless. I know that there are others I've left out, but this is the list of the best ones that exist. If you know others, please list them in the comments section below. I hope you enjoyed the video. Do not forget to like and subscribe to this channel to enjoy more videos. Until we see each other next time, goodbye.